Kia ora. Welcome to another week in the workshop. This week it is cold and miserable, so motivation is quite low. Anyway, over the weekend I put together another panel out of stuff from my scrap bin. Look, it's nearly empty. Pleased about that. And I'm on a bit of a mission to clean up all the scrap, empty the driveway. Now I have a system whereby I can store roughly 80 pallets worth of material along the back wall. There's no excuse for having scraps lying about. So I'm on a mission to either make panels out of the scraps or make firewood out of them. So one or the other, that's it. The main mission for the week for the channel is working on the outdoor pantry. And I have a couple of finished level 3 panels that I'll put into that, which are just the really nice thin strips. And the first thing I need to do there, I think, is I'm up to working on the rubbish bin compartment, and I want to isolate that from the rest of the pantry. I think I'll empty it out and I'll bring the frame in here, and then I'll use the panel material that I have to box out that rubbish area. And yeah, that'll be the first job for that. And then I haven't actually designed the rubbish drawer yet. So once I have that done, which I'll probably do this afternoon, given it's so cold and miserable, I might do a bit of computer stuff. Once I have that designed, then I'll build it. But I won't have enough material for that, so we'll see. I also want to show you what Catherine's been working on inside. We've got a problem with some damp getting through an old brick retaining wall that wasn't done very well. So she's dug all that out, and we're going to rebuild it with the damp-proof course and backfill with gravel and all that sort of stuff to get that room dry, and then rebuild and remodel. So I'll give you a look at that as well. As for today, let's get this next set of scraps panelled up and get that frame in here and have a look at what needs doing. All right, let's go. Pretty rough, and I'll lose a lot in planing, but like I said, I'm just on a mission to get rid of the scraps. Because the boards are so even, the downward pressure is not overly important, but I put the thickest board on the outside so I can pull the ends in and then hold it there with that vertical pressure. So that's really all these guys are doing. Stop it from cupping, I guess, but it's more about the horizontal pressure. Anyway, go get that frame now. Man, it is cold out there. Alright, so I think I mentioned it before. What I want to do is basically seal in this section here, this box, because in here goes a rubbish bin and possibly some recycling and stuff. So I want to separate that from the rest of it, which is potentially got food in it. So yeah, I'm going to take my level 3 panels that I've got, and I'm going to chop them up. I'm going to chop them up and make them fill in all this space. It's going to be good. We're going to have fun. It's so cold today. All right, let's do this. There's my cutting list. Now I have to cut those panels. Obviously cut and glue stuff back together because it's going to be awkward sizes. And fit them in that box there. There's my panels over there. I have 2. I'll make another one tonight. I like to start with the biggest panel, so these 2 here, 686 by 400 mil. These panels here are about 300 wide. So in order to get 2 686s, I need 2 of these full, plus some extra to add on to get the width. So I've got 2 marked out on this panel. So I'll cut that guy down there and I'll get a 686 at that end and another one at that end. And then I've got this marked out here and I'll get the rest of the strips that I need to get the full width out of this guy. So that's where I'm going to start. Get the 2 biggest panels out of the way and then we'll see where we can go from there. So straight up I need to go over to the table saw, cross cut. There we have 3 panels, about 370. So I've got to figure out how much of this top one I need to rip to add to each of the bottom ones to get the final dimensions. I have my 2 panels here, sort of, what is it, 686 by 400 roughly. This one is a bit smaller than that, but they're the 2 biggest panels I need. So let's get these 2 glued together and see if we can make some of the other ones out of what's left over. So, through. 2 biggest panels taken care of. You can see they're nice and flat on the bench. There's a shadow line there that makes it look like they're not, but they are. They're certainly flat enough for the job that we're going to do with them. And you can see the seam is nice. Right, so that's 2 panels taken care of. The next biggest one is 478 by 400. So I'm just going to work my way through. This is all the material I have left from the 2 panels after those are taken care of. So we chewing through it as I knew we would. So I'll get the next biggest panel out of this lot and that might be it. I'll catch you back up when I'm done with that. That's going to be a wrap on that process today. I got the 3 biggest panels done and just these guys for scrap. So that's pretty good utilization of those 2 slabs. So I'm going to set up the in-feed extension and I'm going to rip off another 6 slices from my stock here at about 12 mil. Make up another panel to get back to those last 3 tomorrow. And they're still wider than the boards that I have, apart from the bottom one, apart from number 6. But I think I can probably get the rest of that out of 1 panel. So I should be able to box that guy in tomorrow. Anywho, let's do that ripping. All set up to go. I've got my in-feed table, extends all the way out to here. I've got a feather board to make sure everything's pushed up against the fence. The cut width is about 12-13 mil, because that's about right for this kind of stock that I'm making. I need 6 slices to make a 300 mil wide panel, because these are 55-60 mil thick slabs, and I think I'll get probably 4 out of the first one and then a couple out of the second one. So let's get that done. I ended up making 12 while I was on a roll. But unfortunately, I've made 7 from one and 5 from the other. It occurs to me that I could make 2 level 3 panels at once if these guys were all the same, or at least I could make a pattern that was the same width once they were laid out like that next to each other. So in order to do that, I need even stacks. So I need to take this one and make it that wide. So I'll do that on the table saw. I won't show you that, that's just a rip. Easy done. And then I'll lay them out on there as the last job of the day, because it's stuck out there. I got a comment from Memeplex a couple of weeks ago. The videos are like 3 weeks delayed, I think, so it's taken me a while to take you up on it, but Memeplex said something along the lines of put the boards on their edges, cover them with glue all at the same time, and then just send it. And it's taken me a while to take you up on that advice, but I reckon that was pretty good. I've done 2 whole panels in under 20 minutes, and yeah, very happy. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll close in the rubbish box. Catch you then. Morning, welcome to day 2. I've got a whole lot more panel work to do. I'm going to get these 2 guys out of clamps, get them planed up, ready to go for building the box out for the rubbish. I want to make another scrap. I've had more scrap up against the wall and under the table saw and in the roof, so I'll make another scrap panel. But I'm going to spare you guys all of that because I think I've done enough of that already this video. So I'll come back to you when I'm ready to fit the panels into the frame. In the meantime, let's go down into the dungeon and have a look at what Catherine's been working on. So this is where we've had problems in here. You can see the discoloration of the bricks. Anything you put down here just gets mouldy. So I'm not sure how good the before photos were, but Catherine's gutted all of this. There was some borer in here. I think I've used some of the timber out of here to make drawer bottoms. But the main thing that she's done, dug a hole. So she's exposed the bricks on the outside all the way around. Cat loves it in here. Hey, Mr. Pod. Potty playground? Good boy. You may have noticed in my videos that I've discovered the wide angle lens. Really cool for filming in small spaces, so that'll improve the footage in these little DIY jobs where we're working in tight spaces. Look forward to me overusing it for a while while I figure out the best way to use it. What do you think, Potty? Back up on the bench, I've got all of my panels made up, all ticked off. 4 and 5 are drying over here, and 6 is that little guy there. These are all oversized, so we'll go over the table saw, sort that out. That's the first 4 bits. Final size, well, final size as measured. They still might need a little bit of adjusting to fit. Before that, I'm going to give them a quick sand off camera, and then we'll try and fit them. This morning, I've finished off the last 2 pieces. So I have my 6 bits to fill that out, and I'm going to glue them in with Gorilla Glue because it expands and it'll fill the gaps a little bit. And the frame is not perfect. It's not even close to perfect. So there will be gaps, and that's okay. I'll just fill them up with cork or silicone or whatever you want to call it once I've got it basically boxed out. And I think that's going to be it for this week. After that, I've got to run into town to get some supplies for the... apparently it's called a cellar, not a dungeon. So yeah, Catherine is renovating the cellar. Much nicer name, connotations. And we don't really have anyone to put in a dungeon just at the minute. We'll work on that. But in the meantime, we're going to turn it into a cellar. So that'll be the day really. I'll run into town and get the stuff, start setting up for the next steps on that job. But I'll keep you up to date as we go. I think it's going to turn out real nice. Anyway, let's get to gluing this sucker together. There's one panel in. Given the somewhat dodgy nature of this process, in inverted commas, I'm not going to show you any more of that. I'll show you the finished product, which I'm sure will be fine. You get the idea. I'm going to smear this nasty glue, which is Gorilla Glue. Gorilla Glue. It'd be lovely if I could use the top, but it jams up. Every time I use it, it crusts over. So it's nasty stuff, but it does serve a purpose, because despite how terrible this looks now, that will foam up and fill in the gaps, and that piece will be held in there very securely. It's basically just a separation barrier, so it doesn't really matter too much how well it's held in there. I'll make sure all the gaps get filled. But yeah, it's not a fun process, and I hadn't really planned on how to do it at all, so it's going to be messy. This is the cost of winging it going on right here. So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Making progress. Managed to find a way to put some pins in, yeah, using the brush is a big help, although that's the end for that brush. It is toast. I really should have put little guys to support everything, little nailers everywhere. So if you want to learn something from what I'm doing, it's that. Get yourself ready, get your nailers in. I'm actually going to do that for this side. I'll put the little nailers along here, something like that. So nail that guy on there, and then I'll have a ledge to glue the frame, the panel to, and nail to. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Definitely not a tutorial on how to, more of an exploration. A lot of the stuff on this channel is a bit like that. That's okay, I reckon. It's not a masterpiece, but it is boxed in. So let that set up for an hour or two and come back and scrape it. And yeah, if there's still gaps, I'll fill them with cork. I'm going to paint the whole frame, so it'll be cool. It'll definitely be its own little space. Everywhere else gets drawers, so everything's nicely separated. Now I've just got to design the box that goes in that space and build that. But that's going to have to wait for next week. I'll leave you with a little trip to the Big Green store. Look forward to building some more things out of my lovely pallet wood stock. Cheers guys. Until next week. I'm a terrible vlogger. There's the haul. I forgot to record it when I was at the store. We've got some butanol to protect the exposed timber. We've got some core fluid to protect the slurry on the bricks. Here's the slurry for the bricks. Bit of aqua stock. Yeah, that once it's all installed.